Mishnah, Mem Zayin Amud Aleph. Mishin Nizrak Alav Echad Min Hadamim V'Nitma. The Nazir threw one of the damim and he became tamei. He brings 3 korbanos and he throws the blood of one of the offerings on the mizbeach, and then he becomes tamei. So he started the concluding process, the concluding ritual of becoming tahor, of finishing his nazirus. The question is, at this point where he's almost done, but not yet quite done, and he threw one of the bloods of the 3, so if he threw all 3 and he's in the mikveh and he did everything, then he's finished. Now he becomes tamei like any other tamei mace. The question is, now that he becomes tamei and he hasn't yet finished the other 2 korbanos and he hasn't yet thrown the blood of the other 2 korbanos, so is he still a nazir? Does he have to start the whole nazirus again? Does he just need to bring the korbanos again? What exactly are we? Where exactly is he? Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Soser es hakol. At first glance, the Gemara will clarify, but at first glance, it sounds like he loses everything. He's got to start the Nazirus all over again. It means he could have done a year of Nazirus. He was there, he got to the last day, he's been very careful, he throws even the blood, and then all of a sudden he becomes Tameh when he's got 2 more karbanas to go. Start all over again. We'll see that that's not true. That he needs to bring, and as the Rishonim explain, he brings the rest of the karbanos when he is tahor. That means he goes ahead and now he's got to take 7 days, and he does 3 and 7 the hazah, the sprinkling, but he doesn't have to do anything again with the nazirus. He doesn't have to start again. He doesn't have to bring this korban again. The one of the 3 that he already did, he's done with. Now, after the 7 days, after he's tahor again, he goes ahead and he brings the other 2 korbanos. He sprinkles the dam of the other 2 korbanos, and he's finished. Seems to be 2 totally different extremes from Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer, you got to start the whole nazirus all over again. And Chaim say you don't even have to do this korban that you just sprinkled the blood. You don't even have to do that again. Lamaisa, you have to become tahor for 7 days, or else you can't bring the other 2 karbanos. But once you become tahor, you can bring the other 2 karbanos, and you are finished with your nazirus. Amru lo, so the Chachamim said to Rabbi Eliezer, Maise b'Miriam hatarmudis shenizrak aleha echad min hadamim. She actually did this. One of the 3, she brought and sprinkled the blood. Ubao v'amr la abita shahaita misukenes. And then they told her that her daughter is very sick. V'halcha umatza shemesa. And then she saw that her daughter had died. So seemingly this is a case of Misha Nizrak Alav Echad Min Hadamim V'Nitma, and then she became Tamei. Ve'amru Chachamim Tavi She'ar Korbanoseha V'Ti Taher. The Chachamim said over there, just like the Chachamim here in this Mishnah said, that Lamaisa, she waits 7 days, she does a sprinkling, she becomes Tahor, and now she goes ahead and she can bring the other 2 Korbanos, but even the one that she already brought before she became Tamei, that one is okay and doesn't have to do that again. Ketani Rabbi Eliezer Omer Soser es hakol. V'amar Rabbi Eliezer kol achar milo shiva soser. But we know that Tumah after the Nazirus is over, before completing its whole ritual, we see that another place, Rabbi Eliezer says that he only needs a 7-day satira. He only needs 7 days. So what does it sound over here? He's got to start his Nazirus all over again. So the Gemara, no. Amarav, my soser nami dekam Rabbi Eliezer. What's soser that Rabbi Eliezer says? It doesn't mean his Nazirus starts again. Soser korbanosav. The one korban that he brought, that's ruined. Now when he becomes tahor, he needs to bring all 3 korbanos again. Not that he starts the Nazirus again, not that he needs to do anything else. It's just that one korban that he already brought before he became tamei needs to bring it again. So really, Lamaisa, the only machlokas at this point between Rabbi Eliezer and the Chachamim is the one korban that he brought in the concluding ritual. According to the Chachamim, if he brings the one korban, thank you, then he becomes tamei. As soon as he becomes tahor after 7 days, he just has to bring the remaining 2. According to Rabbi Eliezer, no. Once you become tamei during the concluding ritual, you finish the 7 days of tahara. Now what you need to do is you just need to bring all 3 again. The one you already brought, you need to bring again. So they're really only arguing on that one that he brought before he became tamei. Says the Gemara, and we have a proof. The Mishnah seems to make sense. Hachanami mistaber diktani v'chamim tavi shar kom nasev v'titar shmami na. The fact that the Chachamim come along and they answer Rabbi Eliezer and say no, he just has to go ahead and bring the rest of them, that implies that not that Rabbi Eliezer holds that all of his Nazirus is soser. It just means that Rabbi Eliezer holds that the first one he doesn't have to bring again. Chaim say no, the first one he needs to bring again. So to Maisanavi b'Miriam hatarmudish and Nizrak ala echem min adam v'vovo diyo abita shahita misukenes v'halcha matzah shmeitzav amachamim tavi sharkum nesav v'titar. Again, the case where the Chaim said, seeming to be against Rabbi Eliezer, so it's not that Rabbi Eliezer says soser sakol. The response of the Chacham in the case that they brought seems to just say that no, you need to go ahead and don't need to bring that korban again, as opposed to you who says you need to bring the first korban again. Shmamina hadrun alach Shlosha Minin. I didn't do all the ones in between. I did the first DAF and the last DAF. So I guess when you do the bookend, so it's considered as if you finished.
You would say she purifies herself and then brings the offering.
Right. That's why, if you look at the left side, the Tosfos, he that's why he says Perish Likish Yitaher. He picks that up and says, really, you're right. Okay, so why exactly uses that thing? But it really should say Titaher and then Tavishar Korban Asel. But that's what it means. Okay. Keep going or stop here? Keep going. Okay, keep going. Kohen Gadol v'Nazir.
Not 3:30 yet.
Ein mitam likrovehen. So Kohen Gadol and the Nazir. So we know a Kohen Gadol and the Nazir are not mitame for the Kohen, even though a regular Kohen is mitame himself for one of his 7 relatives. A Kohen Gadol, and so to a Nazir, are not mitame themselves even for a close relative. What happens though? Aval mitamin lemeis mitzvah. They can be mitame for a meis mitzvah. If there's nobody else, so they can't be mitame for their father or their mother, they can be mitame for a meis mitzvah. What happens if you have a Kohen Gadol and a Nazir that are walking in the road together? It's not a joke. What happens if you have a Kohen Gadol and a Nazir that are walking in the road together and there's a meis mitzvah? So they don't both have to be mitame. That would be silly. So the Gemara wants to know which one of the two should be mitame. Neither one of them is supposed to be mitame. They can both be mitame for a meis mitzvah, but if only one of them has to be mitame, so which one of them should be mitame when you have a Kohen Gadol and a Nazir?
Well, the Nazir, I'd imagine.
So you would imagine the Nazir. Good.
Kohen Gadol is involved with community. She should be continuously.
Okay. That's what makes the world go round. Different opinions. What do they do? Rabbi Eliezer Omer Yitame Kohen Gadol ve'al Yitame Nazir. So Rabbi Eliezer says not like Rabbi Rubinov, and he says that the Kohen Gadol shall actually be mitame. V'chachamim Omer, but the Chachamim, he's a Chacham. No comment. V'chachamim Omrim Yitame Nazir ve'al Yitame Kohen Gadol. That you see that the Matzor Satas changes Hedyo to Kohen Gadol. So the Nazir should be Matame and not the Kohen Gadol, seemingly for the reason that you said. Let's see. Amalam Rabbi Eliezer Yitama Kohen, and they're both going to give interesting svaras, which is very interesting. Yitama Kohen she'eno maybe korban al tumaso val Yitame Nazir shu maybe korban al tumaso. We know that if a Nazir becomes Tame, he needs to bring a korban afterwards. If a Kohen Gadol becomes Tame, he shouldn't become Tame, but he doesn't bring a korban. So we'd rather the Kohen Gadol become Tame, who's not going to have to bring a korban afterwards. We'd rather not bring extra korbanos to the base of Mikdash if we don't have to. And we'd rather a Kohen Gadol who doesn't have to bring a korban if he becomes Tame with the Meis Mitzvah, as opposed to a Nazir who, if he becomes Tame with the Meis Mitzvah, he's supposed to become a Tame with the Meis Mitzvah, but he still needs to bring a korban if he becomes Tame. So the Kohen Gadol should go ahead and be Mitame for the Meis Mitzvah. Amru lo. So the Chachamim said, 1 second. Tame Nazir she'en kedushas so kedushas olam ve'al yitama Kohen shekedushas or kedushas olam. So the other side of the coin is that no, the Nazir is only a temporary kedusha, whether it's a 30 days or a year or 2 years, however long his Nazirus is. So he should become Tameh and not a Kohen Gadol who, once he becomes a Kohen Gadol, he's kadosh for the rest of his life. Again, as we'll see today, seemingly the Kohen Gadol usually serves until he dies. There are some exceptions, but his kedusha, I would say, is on a higher level, so forever. So you have both arguments. Some say the Nazir should be mitameh because Lamaisa his kedusha is not forever, and other people say the Kohen Gadol should be mitame because Lamaisa if he's mitame he doesn't have to bring a korban afterwards, as opposed to if the Nazir would be mitame for the Meis Mitzvah he would have to bring a korban afterwards.
Why is there this underlying principle of we don't want so many korbanot in the base of Mikdash?
So it's not that we don't want somebody to have to bring again. It sounds like the korban for the. In general, korbanos are good things, but it sounds like the korban that the Nazir would be bringing if he became tamei would be a korban for doing something wrong. So that would be more of a kapara as opposed to bringing something just for a Kadosh Baruch Hu.
How come it doesn't mention my reason? That it affects. It
Go back there again, huh?
It affects the klal.
It's a side note.
I think that's a good reason.
What do you mean that it affects the klal?
Another reason, but if he'd be tamei, it affects the community.
We're going to see in a second. So we are going to bring that for a different Kohen Gadol. No, when they bring that for a different Kohen Gadol, I guess one would argue that that's not enough of a reason because the Nazir has a reason also not to go ahead. But you can argue that another Kohen Gadol will come. The only problem is that we could see in a few minutes that you can always get another. We'll see. It's a good point, though.
We have assistant rabbis.
Oh, we're going to get to that today. Don't worry. We're going to get to that. Looking forward to that. I got to be careful what I say on camera. Kimara, Bishlama Kohen Gadol v'Nazir. So I understand the Kohen Gadol v'Nazir. High Sabar Kohen Gadol Adif. High Sabar Nazir Adif. So I understand both of them gave a good reason why they think that the other one should become Tamei. Now we have a different case. We have a case where it used to be until around the time of the Chorban Bayis Rishon, the Kohen Gadol would be anointed with oil, and called the Kohen Mashuach, with oil, and he would change into the 8 garments that a Kohen Gadol wears. After the time of the destruction of the first Beis Hamikdash, around that time, they stopped anointing them with oil, and they only became the Kohen Gadol by putting on the 8 begadim. So the question is, what happens if you have a Kohen Gadol? And it seems like a silly question, because it seems like an obvious question. Again, these cases are seemingly either theoretical, because how can you have, we're going to see in a second, you have 2 Kohen Gadol's walking together. How can you have 2 Kohen Gadol's walking together? So the Rishonim discussed a specific case, a technical case, where you can figure out 2 Kohen Gadol. So either it just wants to tell us which one is more chashuv, or you can come up with the particular case where they might be walking together. But the Gemara wants to know, if you have a Mashuach b'Shemen HaMishcha, you have one of the Kohen Gadols who are actually anointed with the oil and the garments, or Meruba Begadim. That's the one after the time where they no longer anointed them with the oil. So which one? So I would think that the one that's Meshucha would be more chashuv, and if you have the 2 of them walking together, so then the one who's Meshucha would not touch the Meis Mitzvah, and the other one would. Mashuach b'Shemen HaMishcha is adif. The Mashuach b'Shemen HaMishcha is adif, as I would have thought, because the Maisa, he had not only the changing of clothing, he also had the anointment of the oil, and therefore, as Rashi points out, if the 2 of them are walking baderech, and they find the Meis Mitzvah, so the one who was only Meruba Begadim would be the one to touch, as opposed to the one who was Mashuach b'Shemen HaMishcha. Says the Gemara, Ilu Mashuach b'Shemen HaMishcha, but what's the reason? It is because he has the anointing oil and the change of begadim, as opposed to the other one who just changed his begadim. But Lamaisa, there's also a mitzias as to where we see that the Mashuach is actually on a higher level. How do we see that? Because we know that if somebody does a sin b'shogeg that would have been chayiv kares, if he had done it b'mezid, so he needs to bring a korban. So a regular person, and as we'll see in a second, even a Kohen Gadol who's Meruba Begadim, he goes ahead and he brings a goat. But a Kohen Gadol who's Mashuach b'Shemen HaMishcha, who does a sin b'shogeg that would have been kares, he goes ahead and brings a higher level. He's on a higher level, he needs more of a kapara, he brings a bull. Dilu Mashuach b'Shemen HaMishcha maybe par haba kol hamitzvos v'ilu meruba begadim ein maybe. So you see that the Shemen HaMishcha one is higher. Again, I would have thought by logic he's higher, but we see Lamaisa is higher too, that he needs to bring a bigger korban, the bull, if he makes a mistake, if he does b'shogeg, something that would be chayiv kares b'mezid, as opposed to a regular Kohen Gadol who's just meruba b'kohen, meruba begadim without the Shemen HaMishcha, he brings, like everybody else, a regular goat. Now, Mashuach she'avar u'meruba begadim. If you have a Kohen that was Meshuach, but he was retired. So again, the Rishonim ask, how could he be retired? Lamaisa, you only retire when you die. You are retired. You don't retire yourself. But we point out afterwards, that even though the Rishonim deal with that, you'll notice that there are cases where he quote unquote is retired. If he becomes a Baal Keri, then he can't go ahead. If he has a mum. So I'm not sure why the Rishonim need to say that he come up with this case where he quote unquote retired. But Mashuach she'avar, the case of the Mashuach who is no longer serving, I would say, either because he retired, or because he got a mum, or because he's Keri, versus a Meruba Begadim. So we said, if the Kohen Gadol is practicing, and he was Mashuach, b'Shemen HaMishcha, for sure he's on a higher level. But what about now a retired Mashuach, HaKohen, versus an active Kohen Gadol who was not Mashuach? So which one is higher? Says the Gemara, Meruba Begadim Adif. The one that's Meruba Begadim is adif. Why? Meruba Begadim Avid Avoda. He's still functioning. V'ilu Mashuach, yeah, but he's old news. Sha'avar Lav Bar Avodahu. Yes, he was on a higher level when he was serving, but Lamaisa now he's not serving anymore. He's not a Bar Avoda anymore. He's retired, and therefore the active one, even though he wasn't on a higher level because he's only Mashuach Begadim, he's only wearing them. He wasn't B'Shemen HaMishcha, and the one who's B'Shemen HaMishcha is on a higher level. But once the Shemen HaMishcha is no longer working, now he's on a lower level because he's not doing the Avoda anymore.
The one from the Begadim, there wasn't the Kohen Gadols they picked in the weren't always proper. So is that the reason why that they weren't
No, I think that they stopped doing it because they saw the destruction coming. I believe.
Yeah, that's right, Hosea.
I don't think that's. I think that was just afterwards that Lamaisa they just weren't as on the same level. So that's the 2 cases there. Avar machmas kiruya va'avar machmas mumo. Now, what happens if you have 2 retired ones, but one was retired because of Keri and one was retired because of a mum? So which one is on a higher level? Avar machmas kiruya vadifwai deilu hay chazi lavoda lemachar veilu avar machmas mumo lo chazi lavoda. The one who has Keri, so he's just temporarily not fit for the service. Once he goes to the mikvah, then he can go ahead and he can do the service again. The one who has a mum, that's it, he's done. He has a mum, he can no longer be the Kohen Gadol, so he's not chazi lavoda. Ibayilahu. We have a kasha. Mashuach milchama uskan. This is what we're talking about the assistant. So the mashuach milchama, there is, as Rashi, as the Tosfos points out, what's a mashuach milchama? They had a certain Kohen Gadol who was appointed to take the people out to war, and he was sprinkled, he was anointed to take them out to war. So if you have the one who's taken out, who's anointed for war, or you have the skan, you have the assistant rabbi. So which one's more important? So we're not going to continue this, obviously impartial here. But if you have the skan, what was the skan for? So the assistant was for on Yom Kippur. They need to have a Kohen in waiting in case the Kohen Gadol went ahead and became tamei. So which one is more chashav or died? We don't want to say that on camera if we're talking about the assistant rabbi. So we're not talking about it. We're talking about in Yom Kippurim the guy became tamei. So what's the case? So you have the skan who is fit for the avodah on Yom Kippur, or you have the mashuach who is for the milchama. Which one is higher?
He's in the bullpen.
He's in the bullpen. The skan is in the bullpen. The mashuach is actually, he's not the Kohen Gadol for mashuach for the service. He's mashuach for the milchama. So haimina yuadif. Mashuach melchama adif techazi lemelchama. Is the mashuach melchama greater because he's fit for war, or dilma skan adif techazi laavoda, or the skan is adif because he's fit for the avoda. Tashma, Titania, ain't been mashuach melchama l'skan elashi mashuach elay shahayu mahalchim aderech umatzu meis mitzvah yitame mashuach melchama vayitame skan. The skan is on a higher level than the mashuach melchama. Ve'atanya mashuach melchama kodin l'skan, but you see that the mashuach melchama is on a higher level than the skan. Amar Razutra le'inyan hachiyuso mashuach. In terms of keeping them alive, if you only have food for one of them, or if the building fell on top of them, you can only pull one of them out of the rubble. So then the mashuach melchama is more important, because as Mr. Rabbi Rubinov said, mashuach melchama adif my taima ditalu be'rabim, because a lot of people are counting on the mashuach melchama. The skan, there's a lot of assistant rabbis out there. The skan, you go get another one. But the mashuach melchama, you need him. The rabbim are counting him. It's an interesting thing, because the rabbim are also counting on the skan as well. If the Kohen Gadol becomes tamei on Yom Kippur, then everybody's waiting for the skan as well. But it's interesting. But right now, we consider to him to talu be'rabim by the mashuach melchama ulinyan tuma skan. But in terms of tuma, so it sounds like the mashuach melchama can still go ahead and lead the people even when he's betamei. But the skan, he can't go ahead and do the avodah on Yom Kippur if he's betuma. So that's why you'll notice that the first one that says that when they're walking on the derech, so who has to go ahead? So that's when the mashuach melchama needs to go ahead and touch the body. If it's just to keep one of them alive, then the mashuach melchama is needed by the rabbim, so he would be the one that would get the food. Titani Rabbi Chanina ben Antignus Omer Lama Tignus Skan LeKohen Gadol Shemir Rabo Psuel Hare Nichnas Umeshamesh Tachtav. Ad Kan Lo Pligi Ela BeKohen Gadol VeNazir Ki Ka'azi B'Hadei. Again, this whole discussion was when the two of them are walking together and only one of them needs to be Metame. However, Aval Chad Chad L'Chudei Bar Itmuye Inun. But if they're both walking by themselves and they see a mace mitzvah, so both of them need to go ahead and need to be Metame for a mace mitzvah. Minahani Mili. Where do we know this? Very nice. This whole discussion has been assuming that both the Kohen Gadol and the Nazir have to be Metame for Meis Mitzvah. It's just if both of them are together, so only one of them should be Metame, which one should be Metame? But how do we know in general that either one of them is Metame for Meis Mitzvah? We know that they're not Metame for relatives, even for close relatives. Why are they Metame for Meis Mitzvah? Says the Gemara by a Kohen Gadol, Ditanu Rabbanan, Al Kol Nafshos Meis Lo Yavo. It says, Al Kol Nafshos Meis, they shouldn't come. La'avivu li'imo lo yitama. They shouldn't be Metame for their father or their mother. Says the Gemara, Bama Kasam Davar. What's the Gemara talking about? What's the pasuk talking about? Ibirachokim Kava Chomerhu. It can't be. You have two parts of the pasuk. Listen carefully. Al Kol Nafshos Meis Lo Yavo. The Kohen Gadol can't be Metame for Nafshos Meis. He cannot even be Metame for Aviv V'imo. Very nice. So it seems like both of them are necessary. A, you can't be Metame for Krovim. You can't be Metame for Aviv V'imo. Says the Gemara, no. Ibirachokim Kava Chomerhu. If it's talking about Stamazai people, we already know Stamazai people. Where do we know Stamazai people? Uma Kohen Hedyot Shehu Metame LeKrovein and Metame LeCholkim. We know that a regular Kohen cannot be Metame for regular people, but he can be Metame for Krovim. So we already know Kal Vachomer that what a Kohen Gadol cannot be Metame for regular people. Kohen Gadol She'eno Metame LeKrovim Eno Din She'eno Metame LeRechokim. If Kohen Gadol can't be Metame for Krovim, of course he can't be Metame for Rechokim. So what does it mean? So what he's saying, the Gemara basically is saying, we know from elsewhere that a regular Kohen is not Metame for Rechokim, only for Krovim. So now when the pasuk says Val Kol Nafshot Meit Lo Yavo by a Kohen Gadol, what's it talking about? If we already know that a Kohen Hedyot cannot be Metame for Rechokim, so when it says by a Kohen Gadol Al Kol Nafshot Meit Lo Yavo, what's it talking about? It must be talking about a Krovim. Must be talking about even for his relatives. So the first part of the pasuk tells me that he can't even be mitame for relatives as opposed to regular Kohen. So now the question is, what do you need the next part of the pasuk? La'aviv l'imo lo yitama. If you just had Kohen Gadol pasuk by himself without a regular Kohen, then I would say I need the first part of the pasuk for non-relatives and the second part of the pasuk even for relatives. But once I know that regular Kohanim can't be mitame for non-relatives, then I know for sure by a Kohen Gadol. Now when it tells me by a Kohen Gadol that he can't be mitame for shtame mace, who is that talking about? Must be talking about his krovim, his relatives. So what is the last part of the pasuk that says la'avivu limo lo yitama? What's that talking about? That's superfluous. That's extra. That's what the Gemara is going to deal with. The first part of the pasuk is talking about krovim. Therefore, aviv and mimo is extra. What are we going to do with aviv mimo? Ula aviv hu de'eno metame. Why does it say la aviv not metame? Not for the father. We know he already can't be metame for the father. However, ha metame hu lemeis mitzvah. It comes to teach me that it's for the father and only the father and mother and the other krovim that he can't be metame. But for a meis mitzvah, he can in fact be metame. What do we have extra now? We have imo extra. So what's imo going to teach us? Suck the Gemara, top of Mem Chesam at Aleph. Ule imo ligezera shava likiderebi, and imo is going to teach us from a gezera shava of Rabbi. Detanya Rabbi Omer gabe Nazir bimosam eno mitame. The word bimosam by a Nazir teaches me that a Nazir is not mitame to anybody, even to krovim. Ava mitame hu linigam ulizivasam, but he is mitame. He's allowed to be mitame. Not necessarily should he be mitame, but if he is mitame, it's not so ser. He can be mitame for a zav and for a mitzora. Ve'ein liyala ben Nazir, bekohen gadol minayin. We only know that by a Nazir. How do I know that a Kohen Gadol can be mitame both by a Nazir and by a mitzvah? Now the Rishonim point out over here that the Gemara could have stopped here, because what did I just tell you? I told you that we have imo as extra. The Gemara points out, the Rishonim point out that Aviv could have taught me that he's not mitame for his relatives, but he is mitame for a meis mitzvah, and Imo could have taught me he's not mitame for his relatives, but he is mitame for a zav and a mitzora. Says the Gemara over here, based on the Rishonim say the Gemara here is just going to bring an additional reason why he's allowed to be mitame for a zav and a mitzora. But Enachanami, if we would have just stopped here and had the pasuk Le'imo could have taught us Le'imo he's not mitame, but he is mitame for a mitzora and a zav. But the Gemara is going to go ahead now and it's going to make a connection to Nazir, and he's going to tell me besides the pasuk by itself, by Kohen Gadol, la'aviv limo can teach me by a zav and a mitzora. We're going to have an additional way we can learn zav and mitzora, i.e. from our connection to Nazir. Now the given is that by Nazir we know now, based on bim mosam, we know that a Nazir is allowed to be mitame to a zav and to a mitzora. So now the Gemara is going to make a connection from Nazir to Kohen Gadol and say by Kohen Gadol we can go ahead and be mitame to a Nazir, to a mitzora and a zav as well. What's the connection? Says the Gemara. Kohen Gadol minayin hamarta lo yomar imo bekohen Gadol she'ein Talmud lomar sharei kal v'chomer hu. You don't need imo by Kohen Gadol as we just explained because it's a kal v'chomer, but it's not going to use just it says imo. Now it's going to make an actual connection to Nazir. Uma im b'makom shekohen hedyo mitame la'achivu me'aviv. Listen to this. A regular kohen we said can be mitame to the krovim, but he can't be mitame to all 7 of the krovim. You may be familiar with this idea. He cannot be mitame. He can be mitame to a brother from his father, a paternal brother. Ein Kohen Gadol mitame le'aviv. But he cannot be mitame to a maternal brother. A Kohen, a regular Kohen, can only be mitame for a paternal brother from his father and not to a maternal mother. If they share mothers, that's not going to be enough for a Kohen to be mitame. And therefore what? Makom she'ein Kohen hedyo mitame la'achiv me'imo, eino din she'ein Kohen Gadol mitame le'imo. Very interesting. So the Gemara uses the Kal V'chomer here to prove that a mother is not as strong, quote unquote, for our purposes as a father. What's the svara? If you see that a regular Kohen can only be mitame for a brother from the father and not for a brother from the mother, you see that the mother in terms of Tumah is not as strong, and we're going to be mitame. So by a Kohen Gadol, once you tell me that a Kohen Gadol cannot even be mitame for Aviv, you don't need to tell me that a Kohen Gadol cannot be mitame for Imo, because obviously if he can't be mitame for Aviv, he can't be mitame for Imo, because again we see that by Aviv there would be more of a reason to be mitame, as we see that you can be mitame by a regular Kohen for your brother from your father. And therefore once we know that a Kohen Gadol is not mitame for Aviv, Imo is extra. Again, we already said Imo is extra because from the first part of the passage, but this is again just doing and going further. Says the Gemara, Im zichsa me'adin matam lomar imo b'kohen gadol. So what's the extra imo by kohen gadol? Mufne lahakish v'ladon himen gzerat shava. It's there to make gzerat shava. What? Nemar imo b'nazir, to connect it to nazir. V'nemar imo b'kohen gadol. Ma imo ha'amor b'nazir b'mosam eino metame v'metame hulanigam ulizivasam. The extra imo by kohen gadol connects it to nazir. Just like by nazir from the word b'mosam, we know that a nazir cannot be mitame to his relatives, but he can be mitame to his zav and a mitzora. Af imo amar b'kohen gadol b'mosam eino mitame ava mitame linagam ulizivasam. So the extra imo by a kohen gadol teaches me to learn from a mitzora, to learn from a nazir, that I can be mitame for a nazir, for a mitzora, and for a zav. So again, if I ask you, how do we know that a kohen gadol, how do we know that a nazir and a kohen gadol are mitame for a meis mitzvah? So we know the kohen gadol by le'aviv, hu de'eno mitame, ha-mitame hu le'meis mitzvah. And now the Gemara is going to go ahead and it's going to say Nazir minalan. The Gemara is going to have to bring how you know that a Nazir can be mitame for a meis mitzvah. That's by meis mitzvah. How do you know that a Nazir can be mitame for a mitzora and a zav because of the word bim mosam? How do you know that a kohen gadol can be mitame for a Nazir, for a mitzora and a zav? You know it two ways. You know it A, because the word imo in general is extra, as we explained. You don't need laviv imo lo itamas. You can learn it from imo. You can't be mitame, but you can be mitame for a zav and a mitzora. And you can also learn it, if you want, by taking the imo and connecting it to the imo by nazir and saying just like by a nazir he can be mitame to a mitzora and a zav, so too by a kohen gadol he can be mitame to a nazir and a zav. Shkoyach.